So, and now I'm going to ask for 3 people who are willing to share what they were upset about and with whom. I don't need to know the name, but who in your life were you upset with. So, are there 3 people that are willing to share that story? One there, thank you. 1, 2, 2, 3, okay. Great, thank you. So, what's your name, please?
My name?
Your name?
My name's Jody.
Jody?
Yeah.
Great, okay, Jody. Please tell me what happened, okay?
Okay, so...
Thank you for volunteering.
Okay. I was upset with a friend of mine.
A friend, okay?
Yeah, so I invited her somewhere.
Yeah.
And she dismissed it. And she didn't even address it.
But wait a minute. Fair enough, but that's not a story, that's kind of an analysis.
Oh.
What actually happened? What actually happened?
Like specifically what happened, right?
Yeah, what happened? So you invited her somewhere and she said?
Nothing at all. Okay, I'll be more specific. Okay, so we have a group chat on our Blackberries, and
this is online or?
Blackberry, like on the
Blackberry,
phone.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like 6 of our friends, and anyways, one person invited all of us somewhere, like to some comedy show, like days before, and no one really responded.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, I kind of invited everyone to my birthday.
Yeah.
And she responded that she would come to the first thing, but didn't even say anything about mine.
Okay, so she'd come to the...
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm down for the first one, but...
she didn't say...
just
but she said nothing about your birthday.
Yeah, like, have a good day, bye, guys. That kind of thing. So it really made me upset.
And so you were upset by that. Okay, great. And I'm just going to ask you, so what was your emotional reaction to that?
Anger.
You had anger, and what else?
I felt dismissed, but...
okay, now hold on. So remember I was talking to Kay or somebody before, or maybe Elaine. There's no such thing as feeling dismissed. Okay, that's not a feeling.
Okay, what is it?
Feelings are, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm tired, I'm hungry.
Oh, okay. I felt angry and hurt.
Okay, dismissed is a perception. It's a story. It could be right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just there's not a feeling. Okay? So you felt hurt.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Hurt. Very good. Thank you. Thanks. And now going back to Jody, this friend who didn't respond to the birthday invite. Where are you? Sorry. What were you hurt and angry about?
How rude she was.
What's that? How rude she was?
Yeah.
So she was rude. Why are you hurt and angry because somebody else is rude?
It's just rude and disrespectful.
So?
So what?
So why does that hurt you?
I just think it's rude. It's like bad manners.
Well, you may think that it's bad manners, and you may be right about that, but why do you feel hurt and angry about it? I mean, look, if I said that the tablecloth is white, is that true?
Yes.
Do you feel hurt and angry?
No.
Maybe your friend is rude. Maybe just how it is.
She's very rude.
Yeah, but so why are you hurt? So why are you hurt and angry about that?
I guess because I care if...
Because what?
I care if... I didn't really want her to come, to be honest, but...
You didn't?
But,
Oh, you didn't want her to come to your birthday?
I put it out there. And I just feel like you should be polite enough to say, no, thank you.
Okay, well, that's your opinion about how she should be. But she's not in this world to be the person you want her to be.
Right.
Okay? Why do you feel hurt and angry, which is not the way you want her to be? What does that mean about you?
I like nice people. I don't know.
Okay, I'll go with the rude and angry stuff, but I think there's something deeper behind it. Okay, what are you making it mean about yourself?
I don't feel important. Is that what you said?
What's that?
It made me feel like I wasn't important.
That you're not important. Okay, because you said you were dismissed, right? That's what you started with. That she dismissed you.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the thing is that I'm not important enough. Got that? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So, Jody, here's what I'm going to ask you. No, well, before I go there, I'm going to ask the three of you to be quiet now, and I'm going to ask the rest of the room to help me out here. Let's start with Jody, and then we'll go back through Shelley, and then to Ranbir again. Let's start with Jody's story. I want you all to think about possible explanations for why the friend didn't respond to that invitation that may have to do with other reasons other than Jody not being important to her or her being rude. Okay, what might other reason might be? Yeah. She didn't notice the message. Okay? That's a possibility. We're not saying it's true, by the way. We're just looking at other possible explanations, right? Okay? What else? Yeah. She doesn't like parties, okay? That's another possibility. We don't know that that's true, but we're just looking at other possibilities here. Any other explanations? Yeah. She may not have felt that the invitation was being extended to her specifically. That's another possible explanation. Okay? Next one. She may have other plans. Okay? Yes. Exactly. Maybe she's speaking up by your own energy, because energetically you didn't want her there. It doesn't matter. People, she knows you. She knows you energetically. You have this opinion in her that she's rude and this and that and the other. Maybe she does not energetically want to be around you to celebrate you because she's defensive. She's defending herself against your critical energy. Okay? These are some of the possibilities, okay? We're not saying any of this is true because we don't know. All we're saying is these are possible explanations, okay? Now, here's what thank you all for these possibilities. Now, let me ask the three of you now a very difficult question, so I'm asking you to think about it. Your mind came up with a certain explanation. One is that you're not important. You're being dismissed because you're not important. The others are all the explanations that you heard. Your mind came up with a certain explanation that you're not loved or lovable. Then you heard all these other potential explanations. Your mind comes up with this explanation that you're just not good enough. Then you heard all these other explanations. Of all the potential explanations for the other person's behavior, including the one that you came up with and the ones that you heard here, which is the most painful for you? Okay, do you understand the question? So, Jody.
I don't think it's on. My own. I guess my own.
Your own.
Yeah.
Which is that you're not important, that you're being dismissed, right? Okay. In other words, of all the potential. No, here's what I want the three of you to notice. Well, let me ask you something, Jody. Is this the first time in your life that you've perceived that you're not important, that you're being dismissed?
No.
No, it's not. Okay. How far does it go back to?
I guess my childhood. I don't know.
Well,
You can say that.
how far can you recall it? Teenagehood? Earlier than that?
I can't recall like specifically, but I'm sure someone's done that to me before.
Does it feel very familiar to you?
Not that familiar.
No? Then what are you so hurt about?
Pardon?
Well, not that familiar, huh? So let me ask you this question. Did you ever feel sad or upset as a child?
Yeah.
Okay. Who did you talk to when you felt sad or upset?
No one really.
No one. Okay. Are you okay with this work?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have children?
Mm-hmm. I have a daughter.
How old?
She's 7.
7?
Yeah.
If she felt sad or upset, who would you want her to talk to?
Me.
Okay. If you found out that your daughter was sad or upset but didn't talk to you, how would you explain that? How would you understand it?
Maybe she didn't feel comfortable talking to me about it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Maybe because she wasn't important enough to you. Maybe because you were too busy or too stressed to pay attention to her. In other words, you would dismiss her. You didn't talk to your parents.
No.
Guess what your story is? You weren't important enough.
To my parents?
Yeah. Because if you had been, you could have talked to them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this story of yours of I'm being dismissed, I'm not important enough, it's not a new one. No, I'm not saying your parents meant to do that. I don't care what they meant to do. I imagine they meant to do their best. But somehow you got the message that you just weren't important enough, that your feelings mattered. Which is exactly the story that you bring to with your friend.
But does that happen sometimes where people are being rude and it's always your own whatever
It's always
happened
your own
to you?
stuff. Because if somebody's rude, all you see it. Let me ask you this way.
Because can't someone make you feel a way, or it's always whatever you're feeling?
It's whatever you got there.
Just comes. So if someone could like spill my drink, and I'm like, oh, I'm not important.
Let me ask you this question. If I said that, stay with me.
That's a real question. Like,
I know it's a genuine question that you're asking. So stay with me. If I said to you that you are an orange bush,
Yes.
would you be hurt or upset?
No.
How come?
Because it's not true.
Right. And how would you understand me saying that?
Something wrong with you?
So, exactly. Exactly. I'd have to be blind and somehow disordered in my thinking,
yeah, maybe
right?
you're hallucinating, yeah.
But when somebody gives you the message that you're not important and they're being rude, how come you take that personally?
Because I feel like it's true?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not about them, it's about you. You see that? So that's what happens, okay? Now, so here's what I want you all, and by the way, the three volunteers, they're standing for all of us. They just happen to be braver than the rest of you, okay? But the story is always the same. So I want you to notice three things here. One is, none of you, first of all, that of all the possible explanations, you came up with the worst possible one. Number one. Number two, the worst possible one had nothing to do with the present, it had to do with the past, which means that none of you responded to the present, you were all reacting to the past. You weren't in the present at all. You were little kids, still in relationship to your parents. Now that's not a criticism, I'm just telling you how the human mind works. My mind, yours, everybody's. So you don't react to the present, you react to the past. You're not in the present moment at that time. And number three, it's not that you even do it. It's not that you chose that reaction. It's not that you chose that reaction. It's that this was automatic. Your brain went there automatically. So you don't do it. It's not that you went through consciously and said, okay, what are the possibilities here? Is it this, that, or the other? No. Your mind automatically went to that worst possible explanation. It's an automatic process. You don't do it. The brain does it. The mind does it. Why does the mind do it? Because those were the implicit beliefs that you acquired about yourself as a child. And here, decades later, that's what's showing up and having an impact on your most important relationships. It's also what shows up in your work very often. Now, the more personal you are with somebody, the more likely it is for those implicit memories to be triggered. But the point is to be aware. And you could actually do this exercise. This is actually a practice for you, should you choose to take it on. Is that the next time you find yourself upset with anything in your life, anything whatsoever, whether it's on a job, whether it's in personal relationships, when you've calmed down, not until you've calmed down, but when you've calmed down, sit down and go through this exercise. First question, what happened? Not that she dismissed me, that's not what happened. That's an interpretation. What happened was she didn't respond to the email. That's what actually happened. So write down what happened. Secondly, write down what was the emotional reaction. The emotional reaction is not that, oh, I think they're a jerk. That's not a feeling, that's an opinion. The emotional reaction is what you feel. Oh, I felt she abandoned me. And that's not a feeling. That's an interpretation. The feeling, when you think you're being abandoned, is of hurt and anger. So put on the emotional reaction. Thirdly, write down, and this is the difficult part, what is the interpretation here? Well, the interpretation is that I'm being abandoned. The interpretation is that I'm being dismissed. The interpretation is that I'm not lovable. And then write down other possible interpretations. And sometimes those are hard for you to think about because your mind is very much on one track. Like when I was fired, it took me a long time to come to the understanding that I created it myself. And until then, all I could think about is how unfair and blind and unjust they were. So if you can't think of other explanations, call up a friend that you trust and say, listen, I need some help here with this exercise. Just give me anything, other reasons why this person might have done what they did. What you find through this exercise, number one, is you get to know about your childhood. Just like Jody, you just learned something about your childhood. Because it's always about the childhood. Number two, you realize it's not about the present, which means you can stop stressing about it. And thirdly, it means that the more you do that exercise, the less upset you're going to get in the future. Because your mind is going to become more aware. And this is what the Buddha said, that then those two strong eyes, those habit energies, will not have the same power anymore that they have right now. Okay? So that's the benefit of that particular exercise. Now, anything unclear about that? Any questions on that at all?